I showed you what happened to it. I was parked at the Mac in a handicapped parking space. Sitting next to me too close and shaved the back corner of the car. The whole damage on the car was that big. Well, it's not mine because mine wasn't in the car.
Right.
But I went over to the all set. Went to trip and they did an assessment. It was $3,000. All right, it is now 6:30 p.m., June 26th. I'm calling the meeting of the Meridian Township Planning Commission to order. The first item will be roll call. Chair Bloomer is here. Vice Chair Tresize.
Present.
Kyle. I got to jump a few. Commissioner McCurtis.
Present.
Commissioner Scales.
Present.
Commissioner Brooks.
Here.
Commissioner Snyder is not here, and Commissioner Richards is also absent. Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Shrewsbury's absent too.
Yeah, and Shrewsbury is absent. But we do have 5, which constitutes a quorum, so we will continue with the public business. First, public remarks. I don't believe there are any. All right. The record should reflect that there are no public remarks. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All right. Any discussion? Proposed agenda? All in favor of the agenda as prepared?
Aye.
There is no opposition. The agenda is approved. We now move on to approval of the minutes from the last meeting, which was June 12 of 2023.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? No additions or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, call for a vote. All in favor of approval?
Aye.
There is no dissent. The excuse me, the minutes from June 12 are approved. Item number 6, there are no reported communications. Has anything come up since you prepared the agenda?
No, sir.
Very good. So no public, no communications. No public hearings. So we are now on item 8, which is resuming discussion of unfinished business, the special use permit 23012, W Investment Holdings at 1614 West Grand River Avenue.
Very quickly, this is the follow-up to the public hearing that was held on this application 2 weeks ago. This is an application for the construction of a 4,000 square foot medical marijuana provisioning center at 1614 West Grand River. Approximately 2.4 acres in size, zone C2 commercial. The Planning Commission raised no major concerns, did have some questions that were answered, but you did agree to consider a resolution to approve this. We have heard nothing from the public since that meeting, and you have a resolution to approve in your packet. The applicant is represented, so if you have any last-minute questions, myself or applicant, we're available.
Yeah, just to clarify, it seems, if I remember correctly, immediately to the east of this property is a medical facility, is that right?
Yeah. Yes, Sparrow Medical
Sparrow Labs,
Facility.
okay. All right. Does, Commissioner?
I was going to read the resolution.
Oh, okay.
So we have a motion on the floor. The W Investment Holdings applicant has submitted a special use permit application. The construction of a 4,000 square foot medical marijuana provisioning center at 1614 West Grand River, Okemos, Michigan, 48864, subject property. The subject property is approximately 2.4 acres and got this a little too wide in size and is zone C2 commercial. A public hearing for this application was held at the Planning Commission's regular meeting on Monday, June 12, 2023. The Planning Commission raised no major concerns and agreed to consider a resolution to approve the special use permit to construct a medical marijuana provisioning center at 1614 West Grand River at its next meeting. The Planning Commission may approve the Planning Commission options. We may approve with conditions, or deny the special use permit. A resolution to approve the request is provided. Staff recommends approval of the special use permit for the construction of a medical marijuana provisioning center at 1614 West Grand River with the conditions listed in the resolution, and I was not reading the resolution.
I was wondering where that was going to go.
I think I'll read the resolve, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now therefore resolved, the Planning Commission of the Charter Township of Meridian hereby recommends approval of special use permit number 23012, subject to the following conditions. 1, approval is in accordance with the site plan prepared by Rogvoy Architects dated August 2nd, 2019, and received by the township on April 28th, 2023. Approval is in accordance with the building elevations prepared by Rogvoy Architects dated August 2, 2019, and received by the township on April 28, 2023. Number 3, approval is subject to the applicant receiving approval of a commercial medical marijuana facility permit by the Director of Community Planning and Development. Number 4, approval is subject to the applicant receiving final approval for a medical marijuana license from the state of Michigan, Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs. Number 5, the applicant shall obtain and maintain any and all other applicable permits, licenses, and approvals necessary to operate the proposed commercial medical marijuana provisioning center from the state of Michigan, township, and any other applicable agencies. Copies of all permits, licenses, and approvals shall be submitted to the Department of Community Planning and Development. Number 6, site plan review approval is required to construct the proposed building. The final site plan, building elevations, and landscape plan shall be subject to the approval of the Director of Community Planning and Development. Number 7, the applicant shall obtain all necessary permits, licenses, and approvals from the Ingham County Road Department, Ingham County Drain Commissioner, Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, and the township as applicable. Copies of all permits, licenses, and approval letters shall be submitted to the Department of Community Planning and Development. Number 8, utility, grading, and storm drainage plans for the site are subject to the approval of the Director of Public Works and Engineering and Ingham County Drain Commissioner, and shall be completed in accordance with the township engineering design and construction standards. Number 9, no grading or land clearing shall take place on the site until the site plan has been approved by the Director of Community Planning and Development, and grading and soil erosion and sedimentation control permits have been issued for the project. All utility service, number 10, all utility service distribution lines shall be installed underground. Number 11, any proposed future expansion, additions, or revisions to the proposed tenant space building or site will require an amendment to special use permit number 23012. Number 12, the final design of the trash and recycling facilities and related enclosures shall be subject to the approval of the Director of Community Planning and Development. Number 13, site accessories such as railings, benches, exterior lighting fixtures, and bicycle racks shall be of commercial quality and complement the building design. The final design and location of such accessories shall be subject to the approval of the Director of Community Planning and Development. Number 14, all mechanical heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and similar systems shall be screened from view by an opaque structure or landscape material, if at street level. It's selected to complement the building. Such screening is subject to the approval of the Director of Community Planning and Development. Number 15, sign permits shall be required for any signage proposed on the property. Number 16, the provisioning center shall remain in compliance with the operational requirements established in Section 40-31 of the Code of Ordinances. Number 17, the special use permit shall be revoked if applicant fails to maintain a valid commercial medical marijuana facility permit from the township and facility license from the state of Michigan, and I so move.
Support.
Any further discussion on this motion?
I just have a couple of questions. So I'm looking at it on my phone. You mentioned that it was just south of Sparrow?
Just west of it.
West of Sparrow. Yeah, if you don't mind, I can't really
Sure.
picture it here. Maybe.
Yeah,
I know it's an undeveloped property, right?
correct.
Right now.
Across from the grocery store.
All the time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got that area now.
Okay.
Yeah, see.
There's the property. There was a house there that has been torn down at this point, is my understanding. Yeah, right. And then that's the Sparrow facility. And then just to zoom out a little bit, as I mentioned a couple weeks ago, this is the Grand Reserve prop development that was approved a few months ago. They're in site plan review. This part down here, that would be, you know, the building in question would be right down here. So you got a lot of open space here. You've got wetland issues here that they're observing. And then there are wetland issues here, so it's quite a distance from any of the development.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions or comments on the motion? All right, then we'll call for a roll.
Yeah, I do have one, I'm sorry. I did not see in here that puts a time frame if no work is commenced. When would this permit expire?
Special use permit expires, here. A little bit of look at how the sausage is made, if you will. Here's our code of ordinances. Under zoning, go to administration and enforcement. And here's special use permits. And then the The effective date shall be 10 days from the date the planning commission's approval, or in this case, the board's approval. The permit becomes void if construction related has not commenced within 24 months after the effective date of the permit. And then all construction related to the special use permit must be completed within 36 months. So there are deadlines built into the ordinance.
In addition, the tentative license is only good for 2 years, I believe, too.
Something like that.
So, as the maker of the motion, I would like to speak to it. I'm in support of this based on several factors. One of the main factors is it was previously approved in 2019, and then it expired. I don't see anything that has changed to say why we should not approve it again. And this time, the expectation would be so that the work would commence, it would be built, and it would become operational after and if the board approves our recommendation that we're making today. So I'm a yes vote.
Good. Any other discussion? All right, the chair calls for a roll call vote then. Commissioner Trusais,
Yes.
Commissioner McCurtis,
Yes.
Commissioner Scales,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes?
and the chair votes yes. So the motion is passed.
I just want to say thank you very much, gentlemen. I know this is the second meeting in a row where we're the only item on the agenda. I know we're taking away from your families and your life, so we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
We'll be in touch with the next steps, and we'll let you know before it goes to much further vote.
You already know. Yep,
Sure.
you already know.
Thank you.
Right there. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Stay dry.
Back here. That was the only item of unfinished business. Presume that staff will present a printed resolution for me to sign.
I'm sorry? Oh, at your next meeting, yes.
Very good, thank you. So we are now on item number 9, other business, there is none listed. Master plan update, number 10.
Really quickly, we are probably going to cancel the July 10th meeting. We don't have anything for the agenda. I'm out of town, due to lack of business. We do plan on bringing a draft of the master plan to your meeting on July 24th. Director Schmidt has met with communications. He's in the process of formatting the text that staff has put together. So we're really close to having a fully formatted first draft document. At that meeting, you'll be asked to initiate the 63-day mandatory review period. So during that period, it goes out to surrounding townships, municipalities, some of the infrastructure companies, things like that. The same people we sent the notice of intent to plan at the beginning of this process. And it goes essentially up for public review. At the end of that, it will come back to you. You will hold a public hearing, and if it is okay with you at that point, then we move it to the board for final approval. So you can include it as a topic of conversation anytime during that 60-day review period. Any individual comments that come in, but that is the review time. And that's according to state planning law. So it's close.
Any questions?
Why are you looking at me?
I haven't heard your voice, that's all.
I do have a question. So we're going to get this on the 24th, and then you're going to ask us to vote to send it out to the public. But then, what if we request revisions to the document prior to actually submitting it to the sending it out for public comment.
That's fine. You can review it and go through it. In fact, the last master plan update I went through with the planning commission, we actually had a special meeting when we went through their page by page.
Oh.
I'm not suggesting that.
Yeah.
But revisions to the document can be made at any point during the 60-day period. If you have a revised document, we'd bring that to you at the public hearing.
I guess I'm just thinking,
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, you can finish your thought.
We don't expect you to review it and go through it on the 24th, that night. You see what I mean? It's your document. I guess if you, our idea, our suggestion would be to just go ahead and initiate the public review process. You're going to be reviewing it anyway. Let's get everybody to review it officially. If you wanted to look at it for 2 weeks, you could, but you're going to go through that review process anyway. Let's just throw it out to the public and let them review it too.
Yeah, I guess one of the things I'm thinking about is if our responsibility is to work on the strategic plan, then I would want to, I personally would want to make any review thoughts known prior to getting public feedback, because if I make them, I'm just one voice. And if there's, and we are collectively sort of representing the township, but like, I'd want those thoughts to be in the document so that the public would have an opportunity to review them as well. So I guess I'm like, I'm somewhat uncomfortable seeing it for the first time and then being like, not for the first time, seeing that the sort of full draft form
I get it.
and then sending it out. So I'd really love, I mean, I'd love to see it before you guys are asking us to vote on it. And that's my own opinion on this.
Ultimately, it's the prerogative of the planning commission. We are making the suggestion, let's just open but if you wanted to look at it yourselves for a couple weeks, that's perfectly up to you.
How about sending it to us on the 10th?
It will not be ready on the 10th.
It won't be ready until the 24th, is that what you're saying?
I mean, if I can just interject again, sorry. So like, I don't even care. It doesn't have to be formatted, I don't think. Like, I want to read the text. I'm not worried about the formatting.
I can look into it, but Director Schmidt and I discussed timeline. We're comfortable with having a document ready on July 24th. We're not comfortable in having a document ready on July 10th, especially with the July 4th holiday.
Yeah.
So what I hear you saying is, with July 24th being the Monday, it will be ready the Friday before, so that it'll be part of the packet for the July 24th meeting?
It probably, it might take the form of a memo with a website that would go live and direct you to that document.
Okay.
Rather than a multi-page, big, thick packet.
So my point there is, it's already going out to the public once it goes to the website.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah, but just, so it'll be out to the public once we get it.
Yeah, but not until, I mean, we wouldn't release it and then send you a memo or a packet or something. It would be simultaneous.
No, my point is, but when you put it in the packet, when it's online, it's out there anyway.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Let me suggest that we get it on the 24th, but we make sure we have a significant portion of the meeting on the first meeting in August reserved for the commission to go through it and have comments.
Of course.
It'll be early in the comment period for the public. It'll be on TV. If we have some revisions we want to make in from the commission standpoint, that could be revised on the public comment form. So, but we would have time to review it in depth. And if we're lucky and we don't have anything else on the agenda the first week in August, we could devote essentially the entire meeting to that discussion.
Actually, I don't think it's a bad idea to have an agenda where it's simply this topic.
I don't either, but it depends a little bit on what we have in the queue for people that are looking for action from the commission. But I think if we could reserve that meeting for commission discussion, we're still very early in the public discussion of it. I think it gets it out and the process moving.
And at that point, the public has had access to it for a couple weeks, and that would be an open meeting. And of course, anyone who had any comments would be fair to,
Sure.
welcome to come and share those comments at any one of our meetings.
And still have a public meeting scheduled later on to discuss it in detail prior to any final recommendation.
Sure.
Of the commission.
The final step is a public hearing that gets noticed in the paper, and is an official action. But everything up until then, it's still a draft document up for discussion.
Can you give me the date timeline again? When do we need to be finished with this?
If you vote to, on July 24th, for us to release it for comment, that will start a 63-day clock
Okay.
where no official action can be taken. All the discussion in the world, but no official action. At the end of that 63-day clock, the Planning Commission has a public hearing on what that final draft will look like.
Okay.
Assuming you approve it, it then gets moved to the township board for final approval at that point.
The reason I'm saying that, I just heard having the meeting in August on that, but what you're saying is.
No, I would say release it on the 24th. But we would have a meeting, the first meeting in August, to discuss it specifically with the commission at that time.
Okay, so start the clock on the 24th.
Right.
Okay. Because the August meeting is not until August 14th.
Right.
I'm good with that. Thank you.
Sure.
My memory is failing me. Have we received any comments on the master plan from neighboring communities?
We haven't sent it out for them to
That
look
hasn't
at
gone out
yet.
yet either? Okay. Any other questions on this topic or discussion?
No, I don't have any questions. I still feel like we should have a set, like I'm gonna do whatever everybody else is good with. But I just want to comment that I feel like if we're gonna cancel a meeting and then have another session after we've already submitted the document out there, then why not just work through a draft of it at the meeting? But I also see that, like, if we have a draft of the document at the commission, then becomes a public document immediately, and then that would come before the July 24th goal of putting it out there. Anyways, that's just what I think. But if everybody else thinks are good with this plan, then that's fine with me.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Good, thank you. All right, that closes item number. Yeah, that's item number 10, master plan. Are there any Was there any township board updates? Nothing. What about any liaison reports?
Not here.
Commissioner?
Just a reminder that there's a training that's going to take place Wednesday on board procedures.
Some people have it on tomorrow.
Tomorrow and Wednesday.
Yeah, there were alternate dates.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And my understanding is they're going to feed us too.
They wanted us to know that there's gonna be food.
Yeah. From 6 to 8. All right. My liaison committee did not meet, so I don't have anything.
I didn't either.
I didn't eat.
All right. Project updates, project report? The record should reflect that there are no members of the public present to give public remarks. I see we have a new item on the agenda after last session. Are there any commissioner comments? Not this time.
I do have one. It's more from a, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's from a constituent who's also a person I know. And this is probably something that I will take to the Transportation Committee. So maybe I'm putting the cart before the horse, but I just wanted to make the Planning Commission aware, because we did talk about this at the Transportation Committee meeting, the last one that we had, at least on that street. So this is kind of new on the street. Breckenridge, so she sent me an email writing about the lack of street lighting at the corner of Breckenridge Drive and Kennewa. They say that it's, for the most part, it's a T intersection, I guess, right there, and it's dangerous for kids, especially when school is out. We're talking more the fall, winter months. And people have a hard time seeing there, and the street sign, I guess the, what you call it, the reflector tape, wherever is worn. So I'm going to bring that to the transportation. I don't have to go through this whole email, but I'm going to bring it before the Transportation Committee. I'm still learning here, so I'm guessing once it comes out of there, maybe it'll come to our commission. Okay.
Forward that email to me.
Oh,
I'll get it
perfect.
to Dan Opsimer
Okay.
and see if there's something we can do.
Yep. It's a very short email, but basically
Sure.
the darkness of the corner creates an unsafe condition for drivers and pedestrians on the south side of Kennewa in the concern. And I think that, I know, that HOA in that community, they've been talking about this for quite some time.
Okay.
And so I'll forward it over to you.
Yeah.
Where is that in relation to the school?
So Kennewa, I mean, that's the street there. The
On the south
schools
side of
are,
the school.
Yep. And the schools are on the north side of Kennewa. Both of those schools along that long drive there. Breckenridge, I think, is kind of in the middle there where
Breckenridge
Chippewa
comes out at the
Is it
eastbound
Chippewa?
entrance into the large parking lot.
Okay.
So it's on the east end of the school site itself,
Yeah.
near the soccer fields,
Okay.
across from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know they had because at the last Transportation Committee meeting, we talked about there was a pedestrian island on Kennewa, if I'm not mistaken. I don't
No, there isn't.
No.
No.
No? Pedestrian island they were talking about, I think, was on Grand River.
No, I thought it was
There
when
was discussion. There was a safe
like a
route. to
light
school.
went out or something like that, or
There was a safe route to school project that has been discussed for a few years, and there was a proposed pedestrian island on Kennewa
Oh.
that is not going to happen.
okay. I knew it was something that I just couldn't remember. It was well, and they had the orders rendering for us at the
Yeah.
Transportation
I
meeting.
I think the construction on Okemos Road probably added to the problem because people were taking shortcuts across Kenowa and dramatically increasing the normal traffic on Kenowa. Because normally Kenowa doesn't have that much traffic on it.
Yeah.
Or at least it didn't when I lived in that area.
It does when kids are being picked up
It's
and
the
dropped
school.
off.
Yeah, during school pickup.
That's the time, and then
And kids are
also
walking.
in sports
Yep.
too, because there's a lot of sports that go on in those fields. So anyway, I'll forward that over to you and then go from there.
Very good. Any other commissioner comments or remarks? I like the addition of that to the agenda.
Thank you.
Very good. All right. If we have no other comments, then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.